I'll have to be honest with you. First thing I'm going to mention right up front is it's free. I like this service when it's free because, you know, you can tie up a lot of money in different services, and from experience I found out that sometimes you can pay a lot of money and you may not be getting that much out of it.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody. Today is the 24th. It's a Friday for the weekly wrap-up. Let's turn right over to the grain hedge trading platform, see where we closed off the day. Corn for December trading down 11 cents, soybeans for November down 16 cents, and wheat in Chicago here down 10 cents on the day. So disappointing price action here this week. The weather has turned positive. That's taken some of the premium out of the market, and it's been just kind of a slow bleed here. Every day it seems like we're marching lower. Chicago wheat had a decent move yesterday, but that seems to be negated in today's price activity. Now, with the prices moving lower here this week, we did see some export sales reported out. Now, there was 4 consecutive days of soybean export sales that were reportable, which means they were greater than 100,000 metric tons. On Tuesday, we saw 110,000 metric tons, or 110,000 metric tons sold to unknown destinations. Wednesday, 120,000. Thursday, 180,000. Friday, 220,000. So the last 3 were to China for new crop delivery. So that's all very positive. We also got some strong export demand this morning when we saw 104,000 metric tons of wheat to Taiwan, 231,000 metric tons of corn to Mexico, and 116,000 metric tons of sorghum delivered to unknown destinations. So there was a kind of a flurry of purchases here this week. This is definitely more than normal, and it'll be interesting to see next week's export sales report, as these will all be reflected. So it could be a good week next week when we finally get the weekly totals. Keep in mind that when you look at the overall export sales during this time of the year, typically we're a lot further along than we are right now. And when you look at this year's, which is the red line, this year's new crop soybean sales, you'll notice we're only about 58% of where we normally are. Now, where we normally are is that black line there, the dashed black line. That's the 4-year average. So we still have a long ways to go to get caught up to kind of that 4-year average in terms of new crop sales. It was good to see some sales triggered here throughout the week, and hopefully we'll see continued strength in demand side of the equation here in the weeks to come. Keep in mind, out today, we did get the Canadian Wheat Board Tour forecast. Basically, they're expecting a significant decline in yield due to the dryness and the heat there in the Canada or in the plains. So they're pegging their spring wheat crop at 38.9 bushels per acre. That's down from 45.7 bushels per acre last year. So a significant decline in spring wheat. Durum yield is seen declining to 27.8 bushels per acre from 40.9 bushels per acre last year, and canola down to 29.3 bushels per acre from 34.4 bushels per acre last year. So Canadian Wheat Board, after they completed their tour, forecasting significant declines in yields over last year. Also today, we did get the cattle report, which is published by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Basically, what we saw was 98.4 million head of cattle on U.S. farms. This is the first increase in inventory since 2006. So that may not be overly supportive to that cattle market. Now, keep in mind, let's just take a quick look at the charts here as we go into the weekend. You'll notice that for corn, we just slipped right through that 50% retracement. I think that next stop is really that $4 to $3.98. That, to me, seems like there's a number of items there that could provide support. First of all, $4, that big whole number. Oftentimes, those are difficult to just slice right through. Second of all, you have the 100-day moving average. And thirdly, you have a trend line moving through that area. So to me, with the consolidation of 3 different indicators there, I would be surprised if that did not hold as support next week. Now, keep in mind when you look at soybeans, we moved through that 980, and gosh, it just seemed like we just kept going. We slipped right below that 50% retracement. So for me, I'm under the impression that we could see some continuation lower here until we get down around that 62% retracement and 100-day moving average down below. So to me, I think those are the areas that we're going to want to be paying attention to in early part of next week. Now, this is Friday. We do talk about the cash market here, and one thing I want to talk about is the changes. One thing you'll notice is soybean basis did increase by 1.5 pennies this week, so that was very positive to see. The Gulf increased 8 cents, and soybean plants increased on average 3 cents throughout the U.S. The biggest increases were the soy plants in the eastern part of the grain belt, areas where it's really been very, very wet, and they are concerned about the crop conditions. So the East seemed to react a little bit more to the kind of shutting off of farmer selling here with the decline in prices by increasing between 5 to 10 cents. So we did see a little bit of a change there, a little bit of difference between eastern basis versus western basis. Corn basis on average increased 2 cents. Ethanol on average was up 3 cents. Again, the eastern part of the grain belt, it was not uncommon to see 5 to 10 cent basis improvements at ethanol plants there. The river was up on average 3 cents for corn and basis across the U.S. So, guys, that wraps up today's show. If you have any questions about what we talked about, please give us a call. The number is 877-472-4607. And remember, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and take a demo of our 14-day free trial. See what it's like to have live quotes in the palm of your hand and also that live platform on your desktop. Both very powerful tools when it comes to grain marketing. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Monday.